We're really glad you're back, and we want to share something that I've talked about briefly before, but I want to go into more detail because I think it can have real advantage for maybe you. So it's called the potato chip story. And I realized some time ago that I was giving my well-being away to potato chips. Now, how did I do that?
Well, what does that look like? What do you mean giving your well-being to potato chips?
I was making potato chips very important in my life, even though I realized they weren't a food that did anything of value for my body or my well-being.
But it must have been a value if you wanted to eat them. What was the value it was giving you, or you were giving them?
Well, I noticed that I would want them when I wanted to give myself a reward for doing something well, or when I was feeling a little bit anxious, I would think potato chips and I'd go for them.
We all have that go-to, don't we? So what I hear you saying is that there would be some sense of pressure, or things just weren't the way you wanted them. And you knew that there was a food, potato chips, that could make you feel better, could move you more in the direction of the way you wanted to feel. So you were using these feelings and the association with potato chips to get to a better feeling. Is that what you mean by giving your well-being? That sense of feeling good is a sense of well-being?
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Bill always explains things so beautifully. I love listening to it myself.
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
Depends on the story I'm telling you.
But anyway, what I realized, a friend said to me, "Are you giving your well-being to potato chips?" And I thought for a moment, yep, that's exactly what I'm doing, because they were something that I knew I didn't really want in my life, that weren't a contributor to the health that was possible in my body and the well-being that I could feel generally, having even a higher level of health. So I decided what I was going to do the next time the potato chip craving came up was to just sit for a moment, get quiet inside, and feel what was really there. What was really the driving force behind my reaching for something I knew I didn't want. And so I did that. And what I saw was that beliefs keep us, what would you call it? Stuck, planted in the old. And that if I was willing to feel whatever that urge was that came up, it might open the door to my seeing what belief was driving that behavior. So I sat, I got quiet for a moment. I was willing to feel whatever was there. And in doing that, I saw that potato chips for me, this is the belief part, were associated with feeling safe as a kid. We'd go to my aunt's house, have a barbecue, and it was one of the few times my father relaxed enough to be really pleasant. So then I could relax and be really enjoying of every moment. And when I saw that belief, I realized, no, I'm just following an old pattern and belief that is no longer true. And interestingly enough, the belief came out of the willingness to feel the feeling. It dissolved. I haven't had an urge for potato chips, nor have I had a potato chip since then. And that's been, 2 years?
Quite a while.
Yeah, quite a while. And even when I go to the health food store and go down the potato chip roll for whatever reason, there's no draw. It's just gone. So I want to encourage you, when you have a craving or an urge to reach for something that you know is not in your best interest, that isn't the lovingness you can give your body to have great health, sit for a moment, be willing to feel, welcome in, lean into whatever the feeling is that's there, and see what it reveals to you, because the belief often comes when there's a full willingness to feel the feeling. Yeah, it's such a sweet thing to do. And then when you do it a few times, you don't have any hesitation to do it whenever. And the possibility is that these urges that drive us that we know aren't in our best interest can dissolve.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What I hear you saying in that too is a reflection of what we often share, that difficulties in our lives are doorways into greater freedom, are doorways into aligning more with who we really are, which is where our well-being resides. But what we're always looking for, that when we have those old beliefs, those old associations with our often childhood experiences, where we developed coping mechanisms to deal with things because we weren't developed enough yet to really handle life well, how when these triggers come up, the difficulties in our lives, it's not like retribution. It's not the universe going, you've been a bad person, I'm going to make you feel bad now. It's actually a kind of a loving, you often say this, kind of a loving tap on the shoulder from the universe, the innate intelligence that we all have, however you want to describe that intelligence that seems to be behind the organized unfolding and beneficial unfolding of life, of everyone's life and everything that is living.
Yeah, and so many people have a fear, they won't even really recognize this, of feeling what's there. They're afraid that they're going to feel something really big and terrible. And as we lean in and really have a heart open welcoming of whatever feeling is there, we notice that feeling becomes very gentle. So it's just the opposite of what our fear keeps it being pushed away. Welcome it in, and you'll discover a lot of wonderful, wonderful guidance.
Yep, those difficult times can be doorways into everything we've been looking for. I mean, you're getting over the potato chip thing. Wasn't so much about the potato chips, you probably weren't going to die from eating potato chips, but it led you to uncovering and resolving, a lifelong pattern of association with my sense of well-being, my sense of peace can be found if I eat a potato chip.
Yeah, that's well said, Bill.
We can break those, what have become sometimes for some people addictive food habits, because it has this association with well-being.
Yeah, and I like how you said often the association, probably always, but I don't know that, I haven't experienced it, comes from when we're very young. We have no awareness of it even. And it isn't real and true today at all. And yet we're still acting out that same old behavior.
Yeah, it's so beautiful to start waking up, isn't it? From that slumber of childhood, childhood associations.
Yeah. Well, the recipe today is a quick cabbage salad that includes garbanzo beans, which makes it really yummy and very satisfying. And it has a little bit of parsley or kale, your choice, and red onion. It's really good, a good dressing, so give it a try.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Look forward to seeing you next week.